Something, Shimon?
Nah,
Yes.
Going back into Jeremiah 16:16. And it says, Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of every rock.
And out of the holes of the rock, we're going to hunt you from every place. The Lord's going to allow us to see you where you at. That was it. Con. Can a brother hold Ezekiel 38 from the top?
This is Isaiah 14:1.
Dom, could you hold that Habakkuk 2:9 up? Oh, sure. Go ahead, up.
Isaiah 14:1.
Mm-hmm.
It says, For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel.
Lord is yet going to choose his people. It seems like, the Lord ain't dealing with them. We have no power, it seems, at this time. But we was just reading about the great power that the Lord is going to bestow upon his people.
That's right.
The Lord taketh pleasure in his people. And it happens so to be the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, and you speckled birds out there that are of these people according to your father's line. The Lord going to give you power if you're of that elect, that governing body.
And set them in their own land.
Lord going to set us in our own land, not no weak-ass Balfour's declaration. The Lord himself is going to set us in our
state
land.
of Israel.
What the hell? What is that? Forget a state. I want the whole world.
That's right. The whole world.
The whole world. The world was made for us,
That's
man.
our
Right?
That's it.
Come on, man. And not only just this planet, but all planets. Man, we gonna take over, man. The Lord is out there preparing a place for us.
That's right.
Many mansions is in our Father's house. Go ahead, huh?
And the strangers shall be joined with them.
The Gentiles of our people in a Gentile state of mind. They're among the Gentiles. They may look like the Gentiles, but they're Israel.
Israelites.
Strangers. Because in our law it says, don't be mean to a stranger, you know, that's your brother. It's like, okay, you in the land of Issachar, you travel to the land of Benjamin. You're a stranger in the land of Benjamin, but you're an Israelite.
Right.
So you gotta, open your home. All right, this brother, come on in, huh?
It's not talking about a fucking heathen.
Nah, I ain't talking about that.
Because the scriptures tell us how to deal with heathen.
Woo! It said you can give him something killed of himself. They
Yeah.
threw
Usury on them?
Usury.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kick him in the ass and shit. Hey, Sarah did it to Hagar,
Right.
whipping her ass. Yeah.
It says, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Hey, ain't no heathen, ain't no Edomite gonna cleave to you. You gonna fucking kick his ass.
Right.
Don't fucking
Yeah.
touch me, heathens.
Yep.
But that's our people that's gonna cleave to us. All right, go ahead up
It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
to our land. It's our land, right? We gonna go back to our land. Go ahead up.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Now read that part again, because it's a jump. It is our people, and it is the actual heathen.
Yep.
You gotta catch it. It's so quick. Go ahead up.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
The house of Israel, the nation of Israel, beginning with the hopeful elect, is going to possess the heathen, the remnant that's left. As it said, the earth is going to be burned, and few men left. Brother just read it. We're going to execute the judgment. We're going to bind their kings and nobles with fetters and chains. Man. Go ahead, huh?
And they shall take them captives,
Woo!
whose captives they were.
That means take them as slaves, vocab.
Yep.
As we were taken as slaves. Go ahead.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
We're going to rule over our oppressors. And like Bugs Bunny with the dude with the scepter. He's like, the Lord of beat, bah! And this, bah! And he's like, thank you. And he's getting beat up. It was fucking just taking it. That's what we're going to do to the heathen. We're going to be able to beat them, rule over, and do whatever we want with them.
And it shall come to pass in that day, and that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
Woo! Rest. And it tells you in the Apocrypha where rest is allowed in a mortal time. Go ahead.
And from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve.
We ain't never gonna go into slavery again. We ain't never gonna be afraid again. We ain't never gonna be under subjection of the heathen. We ain't never gonna be weak anymore. We gonna be powerful. We gonna be one with Yahweh Shemashah. He is a powerful. We are the sons of the power. That's going to come into fruition for real in this time that the brother is reading about. Go ahead, huh?
That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
Proverb, huh? A saying, a taunt. Go ahead,
And say, how hath the oppressor ceased?
huh? How are you through, E? How are you through? And that's funny because that's what we said. It's a taunted proverb that we're even saying right now. Like, this place is through. Go ahead, finish.
The golden city ceased.
Babylon the Great, aka America, how have you ceased? This is a golden city. How are you through? Go ahead, huh?
The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked.
Woo! The Lord had broken their power. And the Lord is going to physically break their power in this world war that's coming. These are only the beginning stages. Ukraine is only a spark to a greater fire that's going to ignite the world. The fire rises, like the brother in London said. It's only the beginning of the spark. The fire, man. Go ahead, huh?
And the scepter of the rulers.
And the scepter, their rulership is going to be broken. Go ahead, huh?
He who smote the people in wrath
Esau, Edom.
with the continual stroke.
Continuous stroke. You would think you'd be like nigga go to an island and chill, but nah, he's still destroying with the fucking 5G, chemtrails and shit. Damn, he just never stopped. Lord said with a continual stroke. Damn, you just don't ever stop beating the hell out of the people. They already in subjection, they through, but he's continually beating Israel, which the Lord does not like that. You have forwarded our affliction, man. Go ahead, up.
He that ruled the nations in anger.
That's Esau, Edom. That's why the nations, they waking up from that wine and they're mad. Hence World War III. Go ahead, up.
Is persecuted and none hindering.
Your ass is being persecuted in your own nation. Biden is through. He's ugly. This nation is in famine. You got the goddamn truckers up north, got the ships out there in the harbor, got the gas prices going up, got people against each other, got people masked up, got people juiced up. The Lord has done that to you. Go ahead, up.
The whole earth is at rest.
The whole earth is soon going to be at rest once these missiles fly. That's going to be when peace is going to be established. Once this man goes down, once America is destroyed with thermonuclear fire, and the chariots destroy the chariot that Yahushua is going to be on, once it destroys the armies of the world, that's when there's going to be peace. Right up.
And it's quiet, they break forth into singing.
Who's going to break forth into the singing? The trees.
Yep. It says, yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee.
Yeah, what's the fir tree? This is what they call the Christmas tree.
And the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down.
Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. Since your ass is laid down,
No,
go ahead, huh?
no feller is come up against us.
You ain't gonna come up and just cut down trees for no reason. Certain trees are meant to be cut down to build. Others are to give you incense and sweet smells. Like the Elder Yashwamba said that the earth is gonna have a sweet smell. It's gonna just have an aura. It's gonna be green. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be new. It's gonna be refreshed.
Some trees bring forth fruit, and the trees that bring forth fruit are female trees. And there was this devil going back to the establishment of all these Babylonian cities. He cut down all the female trees and planted male trees because he said the female trees that bear fruit is messy. What a devil!
What a goddamn devil. Now you gonna be removed because you're messy.
That's right.
Get your ass out. The Lord gonna remove you.
This is 2 Ezra 6, 7 through 9. And it reads, it says, and he answered me then and said, what shall be the party son of the times?
So this is a question. So when is gonna be the end of this present age and the beginning of it that following? When it's finally peace, when the trees gonna rejoice, when we gonna chain up these devils, when Israel gonna be back in the land, when we gonna have power, when the kingdom is going to be restored unto Israel, when shall this time end and that time begin? That's the question.
Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of that followeth?
The end of the first, Esau's world, his age. When's going to be the end of the first, the beginning of it that followeth? Jacob's time, Israel's time. Go ahead, huh?
And he answered me and said, and he answered, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac.
Now the Lord has to take you back to the beginning of this thing, huh? To the promise, to the fathers of promise, to our forefathers, both our forefather Jacob and Esau's forefather Esau. I can keep calling Esau and Esau and shit. You don't even give him his own name and shit. Esau.
From Abraham unto Isaac.
Yep.
When Jacob and Esau were born of him.
Jacob and Esau were born of Isaac. Go ahead up.
And Jacob's head held first the heel of Esau.
So when the two boys were born, he came out first, and Jake came out right after him, but his hand grabbed his heel, which is symbolic of Israel, Jacob taking Esau down at the last time. Woo! Go ahead up.
For Esau is the end of the world.
Esau is the end of this age. And the weapons that the Lord has allowed him to create, he's going to bring his own end. If a brother can get that in 2nd Esdras 11. Go ahead up.
And Jacob is the beginning of that followeth.
So it said the end of their time shall come through them. And it's E on E right now. And it's going to be E on E again, and then all the nations going to get into it. And then the Lord going to arrive, and they all going to stop fighting one another to fight the Lord, and the Lord's going to destroy them all.
That's right. That's right. Isaiah 13:1.
Bible Shah.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, beginning at verse 1.
And read the legend.
And the legend reads, Babylon, aka America, will be punished.
Hey, America will be punished. And it's funny because I wrote something down. I was listening to the apostles and brothers going into what's going on right now in Ukraine and these different nuclear powered nations. They got a thing called mutual destruction. That's what's even keeping them at bay. But unbeknownst to them is that the Lord is putting in their mind to, you're going to use these weapons. First, you're going to have to start this war conventionally, and it's going to end in fire. It is the Lord's will. It is the Lord's determination. And it is a thing called nuclear politics. And then you go into that. I went into Star Wars. Remember he said aggressive negotiations? And the girl was like, what's that? He's like, negotiations with a lightsaber. But it's going to get to aggressive negotiations with the missiles. That's what's going to really end it all. That's what it's going to stop talking. And everybody gonna be through. And the winner of World War III gonna be Yahushua.
That's right. That's right.
I just thought about that scene in Don't Be a Menace. He had the rocket. He was like, dude, we have a problem.
Hey, it said USSR.
Hey, remember Jake was talking about USSR. Yeah, man. Hey, this is nigga suckers, man. Go ahead, I know you got some, Dom.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Hold that and bring yours out.
In Habakkuk 2:9, woe to him that covet an evil covetousness to his house.
Esau. Him getting this land, yeah, it was prophecy, but he coveted an evil covetousness. Then Esau went into these other lands and put military bases there, and his evil covetousness is now leading unto him going directly to war with Russia. Because they're coveting what? Ukraine. To be put into NATO. But then Russia was like, hold up, that's our plan. So that's getting them set up for a war that he don't want to get into. Didn't Putin say that? Say you gonna find yourself fucking thrown into a conflict that you ain't even ready for, man. Right.
Oh, it's a lot. If I could bring up this point too, this war with Russia and Ukraine won't start World War III because Ukraine is not a NATO nation.
Woo.
They're not officially a NATO nation, so they nobody could get involved with that. Really.
Yeah, they can't. It's just a skirmish. It's a proxy war.
Yep.
Is have interest in Ukraine.
Right.
And Ukraine has interest with them.
Yeah, that's the spirit. Can a brother hold a horrible vision from the east? That's because everybody's looking east, but you looking too far east. You're supposed to look to the Levant region, our land, the Saudi Arabian Peninsula. That's where the war is going to start.
So like, this is Esau's way to present the beast system. You know, NATO, he's trying to make it on the media to where people going to look at him like he's the good guy, you know?
Right.
They're looking like, oh, who's going to stop Russia or some shit, you know?
Yeah, go ahead,
Stop the tyrants.
Go ahead, out.
It says that he may be delivered. So like it says that he may.
He's going to stop America, too.
That's right.
Hey, see, the Lord Almighty is going to stop all the heathens.
That's right.
The Lord Almighty is for his people, Israel, the true Israelites, not those small hats over there. Why is the whole population of them got the vaccine?
Right.
Damn near. Go ahead, out.
It says, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house.
Him that coveted an evil covetousness unto his house. Go ahead, out.
That he may set his nest on high.
Hey, didn't he go into outer space? Did not Esau go into outer space? But who beat him to space? The Russians with Sputnik. Hey, you see how Russians always there to draw his ass out? Always going into Revelation where it says it had the head of a leopard, starting off with Alexander. This is where Esau's world domination began. And then the end of Esau's world domination is going to be the Russians, the feet of a bear. And it said that once he goes out into outer space, then that's when the Lord's going to bring him down. What led him out there? The Russians. The Russians had Sputnik out there. And once his ass got up there, his ass was brought down.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I believe Putin did threaten them to take down the satellites.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Hey, that's spirit.
He was lightning threatened him first.
Hey. Woo. Yep. Hey. Yep.
That he may be delivered from the power of evil.
What up?
Thou hast consulted shame to thy house.
Hey, everybody knows what you did to the Israelites.
Right.
Esau, Edom over here, man.
And everybody knows what you did to Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah.
But you trying to police everybody else
Right.
with nuclear weapons. Look what you did.
Right.
You the only one who used an atomic bomb.
Right.
Oh, and then that's why my man Putin is so adamant against NATO because you mentioned Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That was an atom bomb during that time, and then right after that, they was testing nuclear weapons, right, out there in Nevada. But what did NATO do when they actually came together as a faction? They went to war in Kosovo and all those different skirmishes and battles. But the last battle that they had to break down the USSR in 1991, they rained fire from the heavens as a unit. As a unit of NATO, they rained fire from the heavens, and that ended the conflict between NATO and the Russians, and that broke apart the USSR.
Yeah.
But then since Putin got in there, he's been building them back up to the USSR, man. And that's when that scripture comes into play, and they rained fire from heaven. He had all the nations fearful.
No, that's the correct breakdown.
That's the correct breakdown, because NATO was actually a unit at the time, and they was raining fire from the heavens. And I believe it was Yugoslavia that they get it over.
Oh yeah, get time. Yeah.
That's when they rained fire from the heavens. All the nations like, oh, shit. Like, don't fuck with him. Go ahead, up.
Says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house
Woo.
by cutting off many people.
Hey, you consulted shame to your house by cutting off many people. Everybody know what you did to the Japanese to end the war. Even though they surrendered to your ass. They know what you and NATO did throughout all the world. Why you got a fucking military and naval base in almost every country in the world? Your ass is poking at the bear. Your ass is poking at Iran. Are they not poking at Iran right now? And those are the two major players that the Lord is going to use to end this thing.
And you can see how the scriptures say Babylon the Great is going to be left desolate without an inhabitant. Because when you look into those lands, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they're still experiencing the effects from those atomic bombs. And those are just atomic bombs. Now we're talking about hypersonic nukes. All right, so that's going to come to pass.
Hey, you don't even have to think about the Russians and your enemies outside. But don't forget about your allies going to turn against you too. You got the French and the Germans talking with the Russians in there, man. Go ahead, Op.
Says, and has sinned against thy soul.
And you have sinned against your soul, Babylon. Because even my man Hitler had to tell you, you got the jewels of the Heavenly Father in your hand. Do you not know what he's going to do to you? Come on, man. Come on. Can you get that in Isaiah real quick? It's going to lead to civil war, man. A second civil war is going to be more bloodier than the first.
This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians.
The Americans going to be set against the Americans. But yeah, you worried about sending troops to fucking Eastern Europe and the Middle East. When you got to worry about your own kind fighting each other.
Right.
Thus saith the Lord.
And a big part of that is going to come, like, for an example, over there in Russia, the citizens are protesting because they don't want Putin to go to war. Well, here, Americans, they really don't know what's going on. They're out of the loop. But once they experience the direct effect from those sanctions that NATO's going to put on Russia, they're going to start protesting, stop sanctioning. And it's going to be a lot of clash. That's just one aspect, but we know they're going to be going at it for other reasons too. Race riots,
Right.
political, all type of stuff.
Well, they have a protest right now with the truckers going to D.C. So this is already divided.
Political turmoil, man. Go ahead, Doc.
And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his neighbor. So like against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor.
Man, now can the brother hold exactly what the brother's reading? Hold 2nd Esdras 15 and 15.
Yeah, I got it. This second right up.
Yeah.
This 2nd Esdras 15 and 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh.
Going into this war that's coming. It's drawing nigh. It ain't just world war, but it's class wars, race wars, civil wars. Go ahead, Doc.
And one people shall stand up and fight against another.
Race wars.
The sword and swords in their hands.
Modern day sword is a gun or any weaponry of this time, a modern warfare. You read that again, huh? And just to bring it home, like, don't forget, it's gonna be here in the States. You ain't gotta worry about an outside threat. You go inside, man. Yo, go ahead, huh?
And they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom.
City against city and kingdom against kingdom. You already got certain states against each other right now.
Yep.
Woo! Forever purge.
That's right.
It's gonna get to that time.
That's right.
You know? Well, you're for Biden, they gonna shoot you in your damn head. You for somebody else, whatever, man. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Yep. Go ahead, Hot.
For there shall be sedition among men.
Hey, they gonna go against their government. The ruling government at the time, they gonna have sedition, which means an uprising against their ruling class. Go ahead, Hot.
And invading one another.
And invading one another. Why? What's happening in Canada? The truckers can't bring the goods in. What's going on with the ships in Long Beach? Can't bring it in at the capacity that they once brought it in. Then you have the thing going over there in Russia. They manage a lot of things. Russia has steel. They have, if a brother can look that up, gas.
Energy.
If brothers can look up what Russia actually supplies. Go ahead, Hot.
They shall not regard, they shall not regard their kings nor princes.
They ain't gonna regard their governors or mayors or high officials. They ain't gonna regard them because, hey, Jake gonna be like, we gotta eat. People in general gonna be like, I gotta get mine.
That's right.
Go ahead, Hot.
And the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Hey, over my dead body, I gotta get it how I live. Hey, that's what's forever purge.
Yep.
Hey, but well, we got guns and we gonna do whatever the fuck we wanna do. Go ahead, Hot.
I got the information on Russia, what they supply.
Hey, once they do this, because that devil, Biden already put sanctions on them, right?
Yep.
And the Russians ain't stopping. They don't give a fuck about that.
It says Russia produces approximately 12% of the world's oil and 17% of its natural gas. That makes it the world's third biggest producer of oil and second largest for gas.
Third largest producer of oil. Now, what's the first place? Argentina. And what's the second place? I believe it's those Saudis.
Con.
Yeah.
The oil fields in Saudi Arabia, right?
Yep.
Which America has lock on that. But who has lock on Argentina?
Russia.
The Russians and the Chinese.
Yeah.
So if they put the sanctions on the Russians, through, man.
Yep.
Through.
Now it says it's also the biggest supplier of natural gas to Europe.
Woo, and
which-
that's going to cause the European nations to turn.
Right on America, because by Biden putting them sanctions on Russia, now that affects Europe, his allies in Europe.
And they on the actual border with the Russians. They're like, well, shit, if they get fucking froggy and jump, shit, we right here. Like, we gonna have to fight them.
It says Europe gets nearly half of its supply from Russia. And then it also says Russia is the world's largest supplier of wheat. Famine.